Jen Cassell here. I am back with another design team project share for Scrap Diva Designs. So before we get started, here is her website and all of the info on the back. Make sure to use that hashtag Scrap Diva Designs for some amazing inspiration. And as always, if I've inspired you in any way, please feel free to use my coupon code JEN10 to save at the shop. I super appreciate everyone who uses my coupon code and affiliate link. I do get a small kickback and it helps me continue to create free content for you guys. So today we are going to be focusing on two of the dies from the April release. This is the Flip Flop Folio set as well as the A2 Shaker Pocket. These were the two that I did not have examples of for my release video. And I knew that I wanted to use them together, so that's why I didn't kind of want to do it. And I really wanted to do something big. I had this in mind. So we're going to turn this folio into an embellishment book. I love how this turned out. I'm not going to do a complete tutorial, but I will tell you how I put it together. It's very, very similar to the folio that I did, the B folio. And I'll link that in the description box. I used Poppy and Pear for this collection. This is all digital. I used Koala paper. This is their double-sided matte paper that I used. I love it. The color is just phenomenal. I got a new printer as well. I got the HP Office Jet Pro. And I love it. Actually, Davina from Little Pink Crafter reached out to me earlier, I think it was last week, and her printer had bit the dust and asked me what printer I used. And I've had this printer for about a month, and I can confidently say it's definitely good. I love the color on it. And honestly, it prints a lot faster than my old HP too. And it's instant ink compatible, which I've talked about in other videos. I absolutely love it. So this is the embellishment book. So cute. I did some hand stitching on this side of the folio. And then I have a cute little dangle from this side of it. I did some trim on this. So pretty. Let's talk about this dangle for a second. So I was really inspired by, there are some embellishments that came out with the Poppy and Pear collection that I absolutely loved, but I held off on buying them because I knew it was something that I could do myself with my laser and I could have a lot of fun doing it. So they're like wood hearts that have like a little dangle to them. It's like a pre-made dangle. So I found this really cool cut file on Etsy that it's wood, but it's made to be embroidered. So that's what I did with this. And at the end, I ended up doing a ton of them in a whole bunch of different shapes, and I'll show those to you as well. So just really, really cute. And then the front, I did this fun little cluster to decorate. It's super layered, just really, really cool. Love it. So this opens with just some Velcro dots I used. I thought about doing magnets, but I wasn't sure how this was going to sit. Before I do my binding of any mini album, I do the interior because I want it to sit properly. I don't want it to like bulk out, you know what I mean? So I had stupidly forgotten and I put the panels on this before putting the magnets on, but no worries. I just did Velcro dots and they turned out great. So this is my embellishment book. So cute. I love it. So over here, you are going to see the A2 Shaker Pocket. So I made mine a true pocket. And it is pushed out a little bit, as you can see here. Really, really cute. I used some foamy strips to make my shaker, and I made it a true shaker so that you can see through on the other side. So inside, you're going to find some of my handmade flowers. Really, really cute. This too is a Scrap Diva die. It came with the 3D embellishment book set. One of my favorite flowers from Scrap Diva as well. And then I also used, this is the smallest of the bow bag toppers that had come out. And I had just decorated it with this cute little cluster that I made. So cute. You can tell that I've been playing with my laser a lot more lately. I did this as well. I really needed to clean it after the holidays, and I just never got around to it. Finally, I cleaned it. So you're going to be seeing a lot of laser projects from me. So I did another little cluster down here with this adorable cat. I love the cats in this collection. I'm a cat lady. Over here, this is actually one of my older embellishments that I made, and then I just popped it up on a rosette. And this comes out for my swap partner. To do this, all I did was put it on an acetate backing. So they've got a little bit of acetate too. This, you know, they could do like a little mini shaker or something like that with it. And then I just used a paper clip to clip it to the acetate and then clip it to this right here. And this goes in like this. So once again, they have another little embellishment here. And then I just clipped it into the pocket here. So inside, I am gifting them one of these. So you may not be able to see it. So I'm just going to pop that inside. I do have an extra one right here. I've included this. This is another thing that I cut with my laser. I thought it would make a really, really cool charm. But I mean, this is just amazing. Look at the detail on that. So stinking cool. And if we open this up, I've got this little thing right here. I added this envelope, and it includes some digital embellishments from the collection that I thought would be kind of fun. And then on this page here, I'm gifting them this shaker bow. This is the smaller bow from the shaker bow set that came out, I believe it was last month. And once again, I just added it to a piece of acetate. This one I did a glue dot on, but once again, they've got a little bit of acetate for it. I used one of the dies from the folio set to do this, and then I just paper clipped it on. I added this cute little tab down at the bottom. This is all digital, and if you open it up, I just did this as a little decoration, and then in the back, I did a little digital tag, and I made sure to mirror it so it's on both sides. And then I did this right here. I love how this turned out. So let's talk about how I put this together. All right, so you've got 2 pages of dies here. This is going to be your front cover. It includes your layering piece as well, and that is what I used to create this panel right here. And then your full panel is right here in the back. You're going to want to cut 2 of these. That's going to be the top and the bottom of your box. So this one right here, and then this one right here. You are also going to have this right here. And this is what I use to create the seam on the side. This is going to be your binding structure. And I did 2 of them. And once again, when I do folios, mini albums, anything like that, I'm building from the inside out. So I did not do these panels until the very end. What I did was stack everything together, measured up the sides, and that's how I knew how wide I needed to make my album. So in this case, I made my album, I believe it's 2.5 inches. So I cut a 2.5 inch strip of paper. I cut this 4 times because you're going to need one here, one here, one here, and one here. And then you can go ahead and add your 2.5 inch strip or whatever binding you're going to, or whatever size binding I meant to say you're going to need. So if you have a less chunky album, you could just do a 1 inch strip there and then do your binding. So that's how I came up with that. We've covered this panel, all of these panels. Let's talk about what I did to create these interior pockets. So first, first, A2 pocket. Very easy to complete. You've got these two pieces for the A2 pocket. So this I did as my main panel piece. I cut two of these. So I have this blue right here, and I actually cut a second one, as you can see on this side. I also cut a piece of acetate. I did not die cut. I essentially used this as my guide, and then I just cut my acetate the same size. You're going to want two pieces of acetate. And then after putting those together, I just did my panels with some foam tape in the center. I use strips. I love doing shakers that way. It's so easy to complete them. And then I went ahead and I used this to attach it underneath my pattern paper panel. And then I went ahead, you're going to have this die right here as part of the folio. So I use that at the bottom here to create my full pocket. This is what I used for all of my layering in here. So in order to do this back panel here, I used this one. So you get, once again, two pieces. You've got your back panel, and then you have your stitch layering piece. I use this to attach it to the top before putting in my decorative panel on the back. Also, I did this little pocket here. So this pocket also comes with a folio. You're going to have this one right here. So you've got your stitch layering piece. You could also cut these panels off and use this to make a larger pocket, so something that'll fit a little bit more in there. So keep that in mind. You could do that for all three panels. You may just have to cut it down a little bit on the side, but so easy to do. To do this pocket right here, I once again took these two right here. You also have a smaller panel. That one does not come with a layering piece, but I chose to do this one right here because I knew that I wanted to cut it down. I wanted a larger gusset, so this right here is a 1-inch gusset. All I did was take this die here and scored it at 1 inch. I used this to attach it behind my pattern paper panel. So really, really easy to do. I cut this down so that it could accommodate that 1-inch gusset that I created. And then I just used my pocket to create this portion right here. Now, let's talk about these right here. These are also closures for your mini album. You could also make them as tabs for this right here. These panels, that is an option as well. What I also thought would be a really cool option is to put them as your folding in piece. It would not probably work as well for a folio of this size. When you have this much weight on your sides, probably not going to work as well. You're still going to need either a magnet or something like that to help hold it in place. But for a folio that's a little less wide, these would work perfectly as your closures. So this panel right here, and I'll open it back up. So what you would do is just die cut right here and then slide it underneath, and that would make a great closure. But you could also use it as tabs for your folio pages. But what makes this cool is the stitching is actually on the outside. Therefore, that's your closure here, because you'll get a little decorative feature if you're die cutting it on the front, like so. Lots of different options, and that's what I like about Scrap Diva dies. You don't have to put them together in just one way. All right, so I promised at the end I would show you the rest of them. And I was just having a little fun with my laser. I'll show you my thought process of it. I first started off with this. I just found this cut file. This is Creative Fabrica. Absolutely loved it. I will link it in the description box as well. But then I started thinking like, okay, well, let's use the engraving option, because those embellishments that I told you about earlier that were directly from the Poppy and Pear collection, those hearts had a really cool engraving feature
So I
on it.
found this really, really cool cut file on Creative Fabrica that I kind of fell in love with. And it has just awesome engraving on it. This one, I added an extra hole at the bottom so that I could make it a true dangle. This one, I figured I would use it at the end of a dangle, so that could be fun. And then I also did a couple of hearts too that have, you know, two holes at the end of it to create this right here. And I was thinking these are large enough that I could do like a little floral cluster or something on it. So this one isn't completely finished, but lots of fun. And then, like I said, I found these great embroidery cut files, and I showed you this is how they kind of start. I thought that was a lot of fun. This is floss, obviously embroidery floss, but then I went in with some of the engraved panels and like that. So that's how they turned out when they got out of the machine. And then I decided to go over it with my Ohuhu acrylic paint markers. These acrylic paint markers are just the bomb. I absolutely love them. I will link them as well. I use these on everything. Like, I love that they're acrylic. So you can use them on wood, you can use them on paper, you can use it like all the time. I love these. I use them for highlighting on top of my alcohol markers. You can use them on top of your water-based markers. So these are really, really cool to have in your stash. So I did some butterflies. I showed you this one. And once again, this time I didn't use the acrylic paint markers on this one. I did some color pops on it. So, and then this one I made into a little dangle, like so, really cute. And then I did, let me see. Here are the flowers that I did. So cute. Made a little tassel for the bottom, and then I covered up the back. I thought about doing an extra flower after I had gotten it done. I just didn't account for the back being, you know, kind of because I did the hand stitching and stuff. But I covered it with a flower, and I think it turned out really cool. And this was my one that I started with. I went big and bold on this. So my original, and then I went a little crazy with the charms and having a good time. I did this fun little roller skate. Once again, I used a flower to cover up the back. Just really, really cool. And then I did this one here. So fun. See, that's what the back looks like. I haven't finished this completely, but it's not as cute as the front, but fun, fun. And then I have this one here. Once again, I've got to figure out something for the back, but these are so cute. I love them. And this one has a mixture of the pops of color and the acrylic paint pen. But this is how they kind of start out. I did these fun peacocks as well. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do down here. I'm definitely going to do something, but I'm not quite sure quite yet. So really, really cool. I had a good time doing these. And if you're wondering, the laser that I have is the We Create Vista. It's a great beginner laser. I am doing a laser project next week, actually. I have the Halloween series that I'm doing, the Wickedly Crafty series, and I am actually going to do a laser cut file for that one. And I wanted to do it something that like you could also do on Cricut as well if you have some like chipboard or wood veneer, but I'm going to use my laser for mine. So check back for that next week. It'll come out on a week from today, actually, on Friday. So thank you. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, here is her website and all of the info. And I am so grateful when you use my coupon code Jen10 to save. I will leave affiliate link in the description box with direct links to the dies that I used for this, pick up this folio set. It's so good. You'll love it. And I said in my last video, I loved these shaker pockets. The design team has just been doing such a fun job. I saw Marissa do a box with this. So cool. So, so, so cool. So thank you. Thank you again. And if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more crafty content. I'll see you in the next crafty video. Bye.